Hello, my name is Carl Wilson, President and owner of Yourself.MOD, and today what I'm going to do is explain two things. I'm going to explain the processes we use to control mice in the northern Utah area, professional services that we provide to our clients on site, and then I'm also going to explain to those of you who may be located all throughout the country the do-it-yourself process. And so I'll be speaking to both audiences at the same time. What you will want to do if you were a do-it-yourselfer is to have a good flashlight. This just happens to be a mini mag. And then you want a pair of gloves. I prefer to use a pair of latex gloves just because I get really good dexterity with the things that I'm doing. Okay, for those of you that we provide service to, you'll just watch this video as I talk to the do-it-yourselfers, and you'll get an idea of what we do in the process. And then for the do-it-yourselfers, I'm just going to go through and put this together, and you can see how to do it yourself. If you are doing this on your own, I'll also provide a list of instructions in the kits that you will purchase. The first thing you do before you go putting any product out into the environment is to do a thorough inspection of the structure, whether that's your home or your business or any other structure that you happen to be dealing with. What you'll want to do, and this is where your flashlight is critical, is you'll want to go through each room in the structure. Don't skip things like closets and other, especially unused, unmanned areas of the structure. Those tend to be the highest probability of traffic areas for mice. Utility rooms, basements, crawl spaces, those are areas that tend to get a lot of traffic. Garage areas as well. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to take your flashlight and go around the perimeter with special attention in the corners. Mice tend to hunker down in the corners of rooms a lot of times because they feel safe and secure where they're backed into the corner. But they like running along the walls so they can have their body touching something as they move. As they're moving around your home, they're looking for food and water. Once they've entered the structure, they have shelter, and so now it's just a matter of finding a good food source. And so what we're doing in the baiting process is providing an easy and attractive product for them to be able to access, of course, laced with poison. The preferred product that we tend to use is Weather Block XT. This is what we bait our stations with, and I'll show you why and how that works in a second. Okay, so once you've thoroughly inspected the structure and you found droppings, then those are going to be areas that you want to place the stations. Some rooms you might get away with 2 or 3 stations, others you might have 4, 5, or 6 depending on the level of activity. In kitchens you're going to want to look underneath false floorboards, cupboards, under sinks, behind refrigerators, underneath stoves. And then in utility rooms you're going to want to look behind washers and dryers, and then I mentioned some of the other areas earlier. Okay, so now that you've identified the areas that the mice are in the structure, now you're going to want to prepare to put product out to control them. The bait system that you'll be using here that we implement typically takes 2 to 5 days to clear the problem up. Normally you can expect the problem to be eradicated in less than a week. So what we're going to do is put your gloves on, because now we're going to deal with the bait product itself. This is what the bait looks like. It's a little block, and then we take the small interior stations which come with a key in each one of the boxes of 12 stations. We pop that open. This one happens to be pre-baited already, and so what we do is we take the block, we insert it into the station, and then we close it up. Each one of these stations are tamper resistant. It requires the key in order to open it, or a significant amount of effort with some sort of tool to pop these open. So a child or pet will not be able to access this station. They're secure, they're safe, that's why we use them. We do not implement loose bait unless there's some very unique and special circumstances that we're quite confident that children or pets will not be able to access the product. Okay, Then what we do is we go through the structure, we place these stations in each area that we have identified rodent activity, meaning evidence of feces. Sometimes you may not see feces, but you've actually seen mice running along a particular wall or area in the structure, and it would be good to put a station along that runway. So you will put several of these out. You need to put an adequate amount of the stations out in order to cover the problem. If, for example, you have rodent droppings in the kitchen, bathroom, utility room, and you only put a couple out in the kitchen, you're most likely not going to receive adequate enough coverage in order to control the problem. So you need to put an ample amount of stations out to deal with the whole issue. Okay, so once we've put the interior stations out, that is going to clear up the inside activity, like I said, normally within 1 week. Then what we're trying to do is to establish control on the outside of the structure to deal with prevention in the future. What would be beneficial to do if you can is to go around the exterior of the structure and look for holes or gaps in the structure that are about the size of a dime. Mice can squeeze their head through a hole like that. They can chew their own holes in the structure and then find a way in. So if you have the ability to seal those up with some sort of steel mesh and some foam alone, they could chew back through. So if you can put some sort of steel mesh screening, it's got to be heavy duty steel. This can't be like a thin netting type of mesh because they can chew through it. So you need something that's heavy duty. Okay, so now on the outside of the structure, whether you can do the mechanical exclusion or not, this is an exterior bait station. This unit is designed to go on the outside of the structure for the prevention of mice coming inside in the future. And this unit holds an ample amount of bait to control mice for a significant period of time. Of course, that's going to vary on how much activity is at your individual structure that you're trying to protect. The units initially come with a tray inside of them, which can be removed, which is what we normally do. The lid does come off if you want to take it off. And then what we do is we place on these hooks that come with the stations the weather block product, which has a hole drilled in the middle of it. And then we proceed to put several blocks. On average, we normally put 5 blocks on each wire. And then the wire just goes into a groove in here and just slides down inside of the station. And we will do that on both sides, both chambers. These units happen to also be able to allow rats to enter into them and access them, and the bait product does control rats as well. That's just a little side note. So we take this and we place it in the other groove in here. And now we put the lid back on, close it, and we put the bolt back in. Again, this is a tamper-resistant station, secured, bolted down, so that children and pets cannot access it. It's on the wire blocks inside so they don't shake out. And you can see the entrance hole here is about 2.5 to 3 inches, and it allows both mice and rats to enter into them. An average size homes that are approximately 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, we suggest typically 2 bait stations, but sometimes people will get 3 or 4 of them, and that tends to be pretty good coverage. If you're worried about your yard and your property further away from the house, then you can order more of these stations to compensate for that problem in the yard. If you have any questions, you can call us, you can send us questions on the web, and we will send a list of instructions with you, with the kit, explaining the processes and the procedures. My name is Carl Wilson with Extermaman. Thank you.